anniversary tournament continues. So we are in winner bracket semi-final number 2. Yep. We have Team Rip against the Cats. The three-legged cat. I kind of forgot what the name actually stands for. Obviously, they are a team that has participated in a lot of tournaments. But there's, I think, a proverb in Spain about like a three-legged cat, but I can't pin it down anymore. If somebody has the patience to look it up online, they're welcome to post it into the comments. But there is a story behind this, apparently. Now, we are in the best of 3 series. We're in the group stage right now. This is the 10th year anniversary cup for Heroes of the Storm by Ravencourt. And yeah, after we had the Underdog Cups and for focusing a little bit on the amateur scene with those games, which was, by the way, hilarious, absolutely funny. If you haven't seen the games, you should check them out on the YouTube playlists. We're now going to the top level of play again. And so far, we've had some pretty wild games already. So, let's see what we're going to get here. Prize money is something north of 3,000 euros for this. We're going through 2 groups. Well, we're going to through 2 groups and then into a main bracket. So we're going to be here with this tournament for quite a while. There are no draft restrictions, so nothing where you can only play Hero 1s or any such things. There's no pre-bans. So just your straight up vanilla tournament right there. And that already has an impact. We have some interesting stories with especially the Exodia stack trying to make Jimmy a thing. I've been talking about that also a bit previously. So just generally speaking, in their own scrims, they've been using that a lot. And yeah, we'll see if they can make that a new addition to the meta, or if it's just going to be an oddity that they personally play. But they're also one of the favorites, of course, for the tournament just in general. So yeah, time to tell. But now we have our bans completed, at least in the first round. So Lucio is banned again. The Haga is out on Dragonshire. No global plays from the top lane down towards the bottom. And yeah, Maiev also got the axe here. So no Maiev for them now either. Every single time that I see the Cats play, I am reminded that I actually have to meet up with Drakir. I met Drakir before at offline events, but the guy actually lives in Valencia. So I could technically meet up with him, and we just haven't. We've been talking about it non-stop. He recommended also a couple of burger places to me, because I talk on my stream every now and then, as you might have noticed, about food. And he recommended an absolutely insane cheeseburger place that was ridiculously good. So he just literally dropped the link and said, like, go there, thank me later. And I did! I thanked him, because top notch. But yeah, I still have to meet up with him too. We keep talking about it, but it just doesn't really happen. So, Sven with Hogger, and we got Genji. Chromie was the first pick here with Nano on the red team. Doesn't really come as a big shock. When you're talking Nano, obviously the 2 heroes that come immediately to mind are Chromie, Hanzo, and then we get Brightwing. I think that's the first game that we had Brightwing today. I was wondering why all of these games were just so relaxed without the psychological trauma that Brightwing usually induces in the audience, because they're reminded of fruit flies and just like bzzz and blah. So yeah, but there she is. Brightwing gets picked again. Now, that is just mean. I know that the Cats are playing this every now. Why would you do that to us? I think if that happens, if you ban either the Vikings or you ban Cho'Gall, you should get points subtracted. I don't know what kind of points. I can come up with something. But this is just a slap in to the audience face. I can't condone that. No. So, Anduin gets banned. That's a good ban right there. At least we don't have to hear him cry about the Alliance. So that's a good thing. By the way, for the people that still have not understood this, Anduin is an amazing hero from a utility set and from the skills he brings to the game. The reason why I hate this guy so much is simply because I was at a Chinese tournament for 2 weeks, locked in there, and they played this World of Warcraft trailer over and over again with Anduin and Sylvanas. And Sylvanas went full badass the entire time, just like, for the Horde! And then Anduin came in and just like cried into the camera, for the Alliance! I want my mommy! And I had to listen to that every day for 2 weeks. Every hour. If after that you don't hate Anduin too, something is seriously wrong with you. And I don't care that they're trying to beef him up right now. It's never gonna happen. Milchbubi is what we call that guy back home. Anubarak and Sylvanas. Okay, so Anubarak Blaze for the engage. Quick stuns and a bit more push power with Sylvanas. And of course also fight damage. But the final pick, we still need a bit more damage. Genji alone is not going to be enough here. So, what are we getting? Dragonshire, map number 1 in the best of 3 series here in the group. And it's Jimmy! Even more Jimmy. Everybody is trying Jimmy right now. This is going to be the Jimmy tournament. It's the Jimmy Cup. Dragonshire, map number 1. Let's go. First game, Team Rip in blue with Sven on Hogger. We have Krankle on Murden, Azzy on Reyna, Higao on Genji, and Vasilisco is playing Malfurion. Sven was trying to pull a bit of a funny one earlier. Schenkelklopfer. I'll talk about it in a moment, but first, over on the right side, the Drag here on Sylvanas for the Cats. We got Captain Rex on Brightwing, twice on Anubarak. Hereas is playing Blaze and Nano on Chromie. So it's a little bit of a meme by now, but every single time that players ask me in lobbies, some players, when they host the lobbies, everybody's fine. They are checking with the cast if the casters are ready, and my stance has always been, if the cast isn't ready, that's their fault. As a caster, it's your job to be ready. Once the lobby goes up, it's your job to get into the lobby, and you have to be ready so nobody waits for you. By the way, talking about ready, Jimmy wasn't ready for that. So he's insta-down. And they are able to escape. Oh, and Muradin? Okay, he's escaping too. But yeah, so my stance has always been casters have to be ready. It's your job to be ready. If players are waiting for you, something is definitely going wrong. I would love for a lot of casters not having to wait for players either, but that's a different story. So generally speaking, as a caster, you should be ready. So it's a bit of a meme these days. And yeah, I haven't casted Sven in a while. So today, he thought he's pulling a funny. So the first thing that comes in the lobby is like, Khaldor ready? I was like, yeah. Amazing. So Sven. Funny guy. Funny guy. It's the Nordic humor. I mean, honestly, I should get him an honorary German card. Because that one is right in line with what people at home would call hilarious. So, yeah, actually, it's a good idea. I have to talk to him later. He has a chance now. Now, anyways, we have on level... Ooh, I'm not sure about that. Veteran Marksman for Jimmy on level 1. Behemoth Armor, I kind of get. But you're dropping Ace in the hole here if you go for Veteran Marksman, and I just don't agree with this. The reason is fairly simple. The amount of stacks that you need in order to get better results in regards to damage with this than when you go for Ace in the hole, it's kind of ridiculous. So it's obviously late game talent. You're really trying to just like at some point draw even with the damage output of Ace in the hole and then surpass it in the late game. And if you can stack really well, that's doable. But it's also you foregoing some of the early game power that you normally would have and really banking on the late game with the damage output here. So is it gonna work? We'll see. For now, he gets the kill, but he should also die. And I guess he doesn't. Yep. Gets out. Nicely done. Very well done. Kudos. Was locked into that 1v1 against Chromie. Was able to win it. Get a few more stacks together. Has now gone into Behemoth Armor too, of course. And from here, we'll slowly take it. Yeah. Brightwing is able to get away. And good for Captain Rex. Had to wait, of course, some of the stuns out, or that would have been an issue. Just imagine at this point, already Skullcracker being a thing. Then it would have been a massive, massive gamble. But in comes the next attack against Genji. He's able to get out. So, at the beginning at least, we're off to a fairly even game, as it seems. I'm going to keep my eye on Jimmy and see how many stacks he is going to be able to lock in here. Top side, still our side laners. Blaze playing it off against Hogger. Down at the bottom of the map, the attacks just continue. But, yeah, the damage numbers. Jimmy is at an impressive 2,900. Of course, if you go Ace in the hole, you need others to help you. But most of the team fights, you have some components that play into those. So, we'll see. Next attack is already coming. Still this time for Murden. And he is dead. Level 7 kicks in. So, the Cats are showing their claws here. Level 7 for both sides now. Jimmy starting it up with the Unstable Compound. And now, one tower already down. Sylvanas jumping back out. It's always... I mean, they have a Sylvanas and an Uberak. So you have not only Sylvanas to ensure that you can take buildings down, but then on top of it, you also have an Uberak who can spawn some additional beetles and soak some of the shots up. So, yeah. All the way up at the top, there's already Sven again locked into that battle against Herath. The two of them fighting over the thingy. Words. I'm trying to go for temple here and it just isn't the shrine. Thank you. Oh my god. Like brain. Sometimes really. So, yeah. The shrine is finally taken. It's actually a double control for them. If they could sneak the Dragonite here, that would be crazy. But Muradin is already on the job, but with him having to follow an Uberak, the rest of the red team is now going up against only 2 defenders at the bot lane, and that eliminates the bottom wall and towers fairly quickly. So, yeah, top side, this battle still continues, but now that Brightwing comes in, they might even be able to get a kill here. Yeah, not really. Maybe. Hello, Hogger? Brightwing goes down, and Hogger gets away, and now that Muradin arrived and connects the Stormbolt, we're very quickly gonna see, I guess, Blaze fall too. There comes the reset for Genji. And that's 3 kills to 3 now. I'm telling you, they are really at it. So now twice trying to get around Hogger just dumping his trash in front of the gate. Stormbolt connect! God, I like the way that they're coming in from the side here with the flank, intercepting the rotation towards the middle. Nicely done. Krankle is just a beast in so many plays that he makes here. 10 abilities already. Blue team still has to fight for them a bit. Not going to be too tricky. And AZ down here with Jimmy eats some damage. Still takes the shrine, but that trap is a problem. There's the mind control, and that's a kill. Reyna is down. This was Jimmy. And I think they might get... Okay. Oh, he missed it! He mistimed it! He's gonna die as well, isn't he? Genji! No! Oh, that hurt. That hurt. At that point, mind control is in. He tries to jump out. Isn't able to fully do it because Chromie sucks him back in. So he was trying to dodge the ult from Chromie with it. But boy, oh boy, that one hurt. He's not going to be happy about that. So that's 5 kills to 3. They're still trying for the Dragonite, by the way, and they're pushing Sven back so that they can start the channel again. At the bottom of the map, though, Muradin gets interrupted as he attempts to jump out and gets killed. And then Dragonite is taken too. Ooh, this is bad for Team Rip. They're losing heroes, they're losing ground, they lost the objective. The Dragonite is already busy in the middle of the map. Ay, ay, ay. Jimmy is at 14 stacks now on his level 1. I don't even know where the threshold was, but I think it was something around like 70 something stacks that he needs. So he is far off from that. Even if he gets like 30 or 40, you still have a decent damage output that you can also get through when you're alone. You don't rely on allies helping you there. But yeah, he still needs more in order to get to a proper play. But already doing well. Again, he's building towards the late game. We're only 7.5 minutes into the game. But the fort at the bottom of the map, for example, has now been destroyed. Level 13 talents are about to kick in. And the Dragonite has done some extra damage in the middle of the map too. Yeah, Muradin still sitting here anchoring the place and also hoping, of course, for a rotation that he can intercept. But, oof. There's the Stormbolt. And Genji's immediately there. Jimmy is having some bigger problems. When Exodia stack played the hero, a bit of a different story there. But we'll see how much of an impact he is now going to have for this. And if they can win. Exodia stack, obviously, they won their series. They're currently waiting in the winner's final for their opponent. It's going to be one of these two teams here. Yeah, Siege Giants are getting attacked and taken. And there's the level 13 talents. And he is, for example, not going for the cooldown reduction. We have Giddy Up as the level 13 talent. So, not the build that Dainu has been using earlier when he played the hero. He was very diligent around the penetrating rounds so that he has some utility that allows him to push people back and create some space for himself. But here, little bit, yeah, a little bit different. What he's attempting to do. Sven, on the other hand, at the top, totally fine. Obviously, oh, they're actually trying to gank up on Blaze. The stun connecting with Sylvana. Mind control! Nice! They're going for blow on the abilities. The stun connecting with Sylvanas, but then the mind control comes out and they can't capitalize too much on it. But they're diving back in as Malfurion pops his ult and tries to get more heals out. Talking about heals, Brightwing eats the Stormbolt and finally gets killed. Jumps from Genji straight into the range of Jimmy and gets eliminated. But they're also taking Genji out. So it's really a kill for a kill and everybody here is mega low. If they had somebody that had enough mobility, they could possibly kill Malfurion and Hogger. They already killed Muradin at the top. And since everybody else is low, they're continuing the pressure play with Sylvanas just moving in for that fort again. The lead in experience is nothing crazy, but it's definitely enough to propel them to an early level 16. And since they already destroyed one fort, have the fort in the middle, essentially on the ropes, they take the one out at the top. So the entire outer ring of defense is soon going to be lost to Team Rip. Yeah, that is starting to add up. Also, when you're looking at experience leads, for example, it's now nearly level 16 that we're getting for the Cats. Now, up at the top, Drakia, Herath, really starting to again push. Herath, body blocked, has to bunker up again. They're doing a fantastic job with these body blocks. It's not the first time that we've seen that happen. Where they were forced in using the bunker, even though they didn't really want to. Genji, yeah, he's just too mobile here. Jumps out once more, but everybody is just YOLOing their ults out at this point. So, 8 kills to 4, 33,000 damage for Sylvanas, top damage dealer in the game. 24,000 for Hogger. Jimmy is sitting at 15k. So, not enough just yet. And again, working on the stacks. All about late game, but we're now 11 minutes into the game. And I really don't think it's the right choice. I think if you're playing quick match or whatever, then it's maybe a little bit easier, but generally your opponents will do a better job on this level to try and play around your abilities a bit more, and that's what we're seeing. So, Blaze goes down. We get at least some hits in there. We get on level 16 also Bounty Hunter now. Alright, so yeah. Maybe with that, they're going to be able to get Jimmy into a proper range. Malfurion also a bit far out there. Cocoon, so they're not losing more heroes here. After the Siege Giants were taken. And, well, they're getting a kill. Malfurion gets murdered. Genji wants a kill against Brightwing. Doesn't get it. They're deep now. Maybe there's a follow-up opportunity for the Cats. But, they retreat. 9 kills to 4. Blue team retreats. 9 kills to 4, but double control. And if they get this, then Genji can get a Dragonite. They catapult with the interrupt. Yeah, that buys them enough time for Blaze. Yes! Their hero catapult. Genji took it out, but it died for a good cause. Winions, ladies and gentlemen. Without that catapult, that would not happen. Without the catapult, the Dragonite is theirs. So, taking that fort out in the mid lane, definitely worth it. It's not Genji's game. Okay. They see the... Yeah, they're not diving in. Oh, Chromie. Chromie. Nope, Nano just doesn't have enough here. Gets eliminated. And Jimmy adds a few more stacks to his repertoire. Another stun and a play for Nubarak. He dives away, could get out here. And... Oh! Always getting like hit into in the range of one of these is just rough. If you're in the range of the towers and then all of a sudden the stun connects, then you're in some serious trouble. Genji at the bottom of the map is now retaking the shrine. Muradin is trying to claim it up at the top, so they're still fighting just tooth and nail for the next objective here. So, yeah, trying to make the second Dragonite happen. So far we've only seen one. We're now 14 minutes into the game. We've had a single Dragonite for the Cats. That's all that we got thus far. Yeah, Genji again. And all the way up at the top, Crankle. Nah. But here comes the rest of the team. Not able to really go for plays. But somebody is going to go for a Dragonite, and that's a winner. Jimmy is a big, big lizard with a battle axe now. There we go. I'm kind of missing, by the way, an objective in the game that just wields a huge hammer. And when you go up against minions, and stuff, you know, it can just insta-shot one minion. Just splatter it. Fully pancake mode. Oh, nice! The stun! And bye-bye, Hogger. That was cool. The Dragonite, on the other hand, while this is happening, is doing some serious damage in the middle of the map and is taking the fort out. This is, by the way, the first fort that falls on the side of the cats. Now, this one at the bottom of the map is likely going to get destroyed as well. So, 2 forts gone. But, yeah, blue team already lost all of them. So, one is still standing at the top. But I have to say that Team Rip is now doing a bit better. Kind of found their stride here. So, they're definitely performing a bit better than they did previously on this. Now, 6 kills to 10. 20 is nearly ready. That's an entire level that they're leading with now. Problem for them is there's very little to take. You can try and go for a few mercenary camps, but by the time that the next objective is being announced, I guarantee you that the blue team will have level 20 talents. So, unless they're totally griefing here, there's very little that can be done by the cats to exploit that talent advantage. Maybe they're willing to push for one of the keeps. I doubt it a bit. So what remains is essentially just mercenary camps. Yeah, mercenary camps is something that you can actually claim. So, all the way up at the top, we're now having Azzy just do his thing here. Has to retreat because apparently the cats really are trying to take at least some walls out. But they're also leaving Hogger alone at the top. So that's a bit of a problem. First of all, it gives the team in blue experience to get to level 20. But then in addition to that, that topside fort will likely fall. But they want that keep. And you know what? They're actually getting it. They're doubling up on mercenaries, so they got all the camps here, and they get that keep destroyed. Nicely done. This is, by the way, exactly the reason why the bot lane on this map is so important, because you can set so many mercenary camps up and then execute a big push like this. So even though they will now lose their own fort at the top, this is still a worthy trade for them. Both teams have now level 20 talents, but there is still the advantage for the cats that they can use. Now at level 20, we get the Dark Lady's Call. Hogger is the only one that hasn't made a choice yet, and well, as I said, he locks in no control. And the next fight is going to be on big talents here. But I have to also, even with Jimmy now going for Sergeant Pepper, I have to say, look at the stacks on level 1. You are really, really banking on an ultra late game to get anything out of this. That, on the other hand, beautiful kill against Muradin. Fantastic synergy that they used there. Locked those talents in perfectly. And apparently they want to go for the core. Whew. Okay. One hero down and it's core time. I expected a push for the next keep or for the objective. I didn't think they would try to go for the core. They got Cocoon and can use that. But damn, that is quite the statement here. Malfurion gets Cocooned and Anubarak is dead. They screwed up a little bit. Way too aggressive. That was a ballsy play, but damn. The cats overstepped. That is something that I could make. I mean, no. That's a bit rough. So now they can't even go for the objective. I don't think they're going to be able to get the Dragonite in a situation like this. Killing Muradin was great, but they should have probably just fallen back, take the Dragonite, and then try and end the game with that. Or take another keep down. Hogger's still gonna die, isn't he? No way! Kinda lucky, my friend. Yeah, a little bit lucky here. Okay, fair enough. That would have been exactly what they needed. That would have been exactly what the cats needed to get the kill on Hogger. Jimmy is at 39,000 damage, Sylvana's at 63k, Chromie 51,000. Very, very different build that gets played here by Team Rip than from Dino. As I already said before, I mean, heavily leaning into the auto attacks and also just the pepper abilities. Shockwave, Sylvanas, and she gets out. But the Dark Lady's call does not connect. Blaze has to jump out too, still has a bunker. They're all falling back now. The problem is that, well, both sides have actually used important ults, but we're gonna see Muradin take that shrine at the bottom of the map. So they have to try and interrupt in the middle, which they haven't done yet. Instead, they're fighting for the bot lane shrine. Yeah, Genji, jet propulsion. Holy hell! He pulled a Houdini. One moment he's here, the next one he just gets absolutely destroyed. Genji didn't know what happened. He just jumped in and then he was instantly dead. Now Hogger is gone and they're gonna kill more. That's 2 heroes already missed and they will get at least the objective if they don't go for the core again. But look at this. Check this out. Any second now. So here we are. Nothing happens. Then Genji comes in. Bam, dead. Jet propulsion, mind control, and damage. Insta-death. Jimmy is dead too. He's gone. No chance. And that is essentially, I mean, it's nearly a 5-man wipe. Muradin still lives. Not for much longer. 5-man team wipe. Everybody is gone. 16 kills to 7. Great play here. And kudos. That is a W. The 3-legged cat. They are taking the first game in this best of 3 series here in the winner bracket semifinal of Group A. Nicely done. Well played. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game number 2. The Cats are in the lead, taking the victory on Dragonshire. So, Team Rip. Let's see what they come up with this time. Quick reminder, no draft rules. So, you can pick everything. There's no rule that you can only pick a hero once. There's no kinds of those shenanigans. So, we can still see the same heroes again. But that last fight on Dragonshire was a bit nuts. Poor Genji. I mean, seriously. He just jumped into the fight, wanted to be a part of it, and got immediately met by a stun, by mind control, and was dead within half a second, and that signaled the beginning of the end for Team Rip. So the blue team is going down in flames there. No chance for them. Now we have, of course, on our second map, the opportunity for the Cats to, yeah, just take them out. Mephisto gets banned out, so does Chromie. Let's see if Hanzo becomes a quick thing. Nano, normally when you talk about Nano, I mean the mages are obviously strong for him, so Mephisto and Chromie are both really powerful with him. The next hero that you would think about then, as I already said in game number 1, is then of course Hanzo. So if they want to make sure that he doesn't get Hanzo, they have to pick him now as a first pick. Which is not horrible. Most people would probably lean to something like Johanna. Blaze maybe. Something on the side lane, but it depends on what you're trying to also take away from your opponent. That's obviously a factor that has to be recognized as well. But they go for Lucio, so even more important for them to get Lucio here. Jojo Hanzo, or what are the Cats gonna go for? Personally, Jojo in my eyes on Tomb of the Spider Queen is just absolutely incredible. Huge amount of interrupts. You have a massive amount of wave clear. They go Johanna and Blaze. Again, 2 heroes that I already talked about. They're actually not prioritizing Hanzo that high. Nano is not really like just a 2 or 3 trick pony. Can play a little bit more. I have to admit that doing the Underdog Cup, where we focused on the amateur scene, it was very fun to see how they had to... how they tactically used the fact that back in that tournament, you could only pick heroes once. Because all of those hero pools are, of course, smaller. And some of the stuff that came out there is just hilarious. Again, if you haven't watched the tournament yet, I highly recommend that you do. It was very, very fun. The playlists are both available on YouTube, so you can just go into the playlist section, you'll find them there. Underdog Cup 1 and 2, especially the final matches. But hero pools are usually not really a thing on this level of play. Now, there are a couple of exceptions. Some people have just generally heroes that they're much better at than with others, but you're not gonna have a chance here to just ban someone out all that easily, so that he already sits there like, well, I have to pick something that I don't know. So they could ban Hanzo if they wanted to, then it would target Nano again, but no matter what they do, he will find something. I mean, he played Kalthas, for example, a couple of times too, and I would not mind seeing some Kalthas play. I love Khaldor just because he adds an additional CC in. He dropped in priority a lot as mobility creep came in. There's the Hanzo ban. It would not blow me away to see Khaldor here. Is it highly likely? Probably not. But Nano has played him before on Tomb. And then you have Johanna engage, maybe even with a Blessed Shield, plus Gravity Lapse, plus Blaze Stun. So you can do a lot with that as well, if you really feel you need to. But then Gul'dan is obviously available too. So there's still lots of mages that will probably fit that build even a bit better. And there's Gul'dan. So Malfurion, Gul'dan get locked in. That gives you enormous amount of CC. You have Gul'dan with his wave clear. You have Johanna, even Blaze. They just need also a bit more of a reliable damage dealer than towards the final pick for the draft. The blue team, on the other hand, I mean, they need to turn this around, right? They need to force game number 3. They want to have an opportunity. So, they're not out of the tournament, by the way, if they lose here. They would drop down into the losers bracket and still have another shot there. So, even the groups are full double elimination system. Genji and Muradin are our final choices. Alright. Triple Overwatch. If you can't beat them with fair means, just go into Overwatch. You see, they're doing it too. Tracer. Final pick, Tomb of Spider Queen. Second map in the series. Let's go, everybody. Second game in the best of 3 series. Let's go. We have on the left Team Rip in blue with Krankle on Muradin. Azzy on Junkrat. We got Basilisco on Lucio. Sven is playing Leoric. And we have Genji played by Hiago. So, over on the right side, Drak here for the Cats with Tracer. We're getting Nano on Gul'dan, Hireth on Blaze. We have Captain Rex on Malfurion and Twice on Johanna. And off we go. I really like a lot of the components that we have now for the Cats here. I think a lot of what they're currently bringing to the table is pretty darn solid. It ticks all the boxes, essentially. Tracer can prep them. You have your Horrify. They can load them in. Blessed Shield, obviously, coming out as well. And just the wave clear alone is something where I believe they have absolutely hit the jackpot. Now, Junkrat is very, very good when we're talking about attempting to interrupt opponents turning in, but that's where we have Malfurion with his Moonfire ability and also the flashlight from Jojo, so that's another one here. Oh, and already we're having Muradin eliminated, so that was a quick one. And, well, they get at least a counter kill. So that's the good news. They get the counter kill, they make the kill against Malfurion possible. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. We're again off to a spicy start. And yep, I like it. So, good stuff. Now, down at the bottom of the map, that's where we of course have now Blaze. So this is going to be the solo lane for him. Leo will join soon. The problem is that at this point, of course, Genji had to take over just for a short period of time. Reason is actually quite simple. I mean, at the end of the day, Leo is currently helping out Lucio, so yeah, Genji has to take over the bot lane duty. On top of that, we're also having the same camp taken by the red team, so they're doing the same thing here. Now, top side, now we got Nano and Twice rotating around as you would expect them. By the way, the build also for Nano is catering, is targeting exactly that. It's really catering to their need of wave clear and comes in with Pursuit of Flame. So they're going full into that Fell Flame setup. Blaze gets caught and kills. Actually, the first kill for Team Rip in... Sorry, the second kill, my bad, for Team Rip in the game here. So they are leading now with a 2-1. Tracer still harassing Junkrat up at the top. Yeah, and in the meantime, of course, there are siege giants at the bottom of the map also being taken. Blaze is a bit too late to do anything about this, so with the double setup of Leo and Genji, they are grabbing this quickly and can now try and use that to maybe push for a wall, take 1 or 2 of the towers down. A couple of gems have been turned in too. Always like it when teams and players are diligent about turning in the gems that they're holding. And yeah, 26 are delivered. So the blue team is starting to guard those turn-in points a bit more aggressively, as they should. Because if not, then we're having the first set of web weavers very quickly on their end. Yeah. Jojo, by the way, with level 4, went again into Subdue here. Oh, nice condemn, but Genji's coming in, and that's the end of Gul'dan. So, Nano is getting targeted here. And should have. So, right now, we have the turn-in essentially, I mean, not quite completed, but we're getting there. Malfurion gets also killed. Damn. They're starting to feed a couple of heroes into that shredder that is Team Rip. 4 kills to 1. Haven't lost a lot of gems, but they lost a few. So that hurts, especially since now all of a sudden it is the blue team that starts to turn in. Johanna went in deep to try and get the shield glare connected to interrupt Junkrat from turning in. That didn't work out. So now it is once again insanely close, and it seems like Sven might just be able to complete this. They are losing Genji though, and he's just 1 gem short. And then Tracer gets destroyed too. As honestly, it's getting a bit annoying for them. Every single time that they're starting to get a kill as well, they are losing a hero just half a second later. And with them being consistently down a hero or just a bit out of position, this also means that the turn-in at the top is very, very likely for Team Rip. I mean, they're about to lock this one in. Leo is dead though, but the blue team is still in control of the objective. They get the first set of Web Weavers. So, good for them. Able to get the Web Weavers out. Now we have still Leoric back. That's the beauty with Leo. You can always trade him. He just comes back so quickly. Him activating a trade here is not really a big problem. If he's the one that has to fall, that's fine. As long as he doesn't lose any gems, of course. That's the one thing you want to make sure that it's not going to be a problem. If you somehow can. So, yeah. But alright. How much damage can be done with the Web Weavers? One at the top is nearly defeated. One in the middle. Yeah, they're getting a couple of walls here, but I don't think they're going to be able to take one of the forts out. Don't think that's going to happen. So, we'll see. Blaze should be able to deal with the bot lane. Drak here. Yeah, still alive here. So, they defended well. They lost the walls. That's essentially it. Down at the bottom of the map. And now having, Blaze still dealing with the spiders. So a couple of arachnophobes over here. As Tracer is needling away again. 10,000 damage for her now. Nureddin. And the Stormbolt actually connects. Doesn't even try to get away here. Level 10 abilities are just a little bit faster for the blue team. Will be interesting though to see if they can use that. They are already looking what's happening here. And they want the camp, but they can't get it. They might be able to get the fight though. Beautiful Entomb over the wall. Tracer is dead. And they kill Gul'dan as well. So this is starting to become a big problem for the Cats. They're losing too many heroes. That's 7 heroes lost against 3. Now, of course, that happened in the last fight mainly because there were no heroic abilities for the Cats. But this is starting to become problematic. I mean, seriously. That's a little bit of momentum here. And I need to remind people again, while we have now nearly a second turn-in for Team Rip, the red team hasn't gotten one yet. They are down in gems. Even if they turn in now and get their Web Weavers. They need some kills. So the blue team is faster and they get 2... I mean, they get 3. They get 3 Web Weavers, but this is not their second one in a row. So, yeah. Seems like Team Rip wants to go to game number 3. Yeah. They don't want to just roll over and end it here. So, right now, we have the next attack coming. They're starting to make the play at the bot lane, as it seems. Bunker is already out. Muradin gets burned a little bit. Ah, well done. I was hesitant if that deserves a drum roll, but I'll go with it. It deserves a drum roll. That was a good one. Half the people are asking like what is he even talking about, but yeah, I'm just like, I call it. That was worth a drum roll. So, 8-3 on the kill count now that Malfurion has gone down. And I am telling you, blue team is doing wonders here. One fort is already gone in the middle of the map. Maybe they can even take another one down at the bottom, especially if they're getting additional kills here. Drag here gets farmed by Tracer. Blaze is down too. bye-bye. All of the gems are gone.
And we say bye-bye. Surprise, motherfucker.
So, guys, I don't know what to tell you, but this is not going well for the Cats whatsoever. They are losing everything at this point. That's 2 forts down. The one at the top could be attacked again as well. I guess some gems were still in the hands of Jojo. That's good for her. But they need some success here. They need something. They need a turn-in. They need a couple of forts destroyed. They need level 13. So, this is a tough series. 10 kills to 4. But I like that Team Rip is just absolutely going for it. I love that, actually. So, Red Web Weavers descending. Finally, they have it. They're going to get level 13 for the push. How much damage can they do? Because if they are not able to do any damage here, and maybe even lose a couple of heroes, then it's going to be a disaster. Jojo is able to get out here, so that works nicely. Maybe they can go for Genji. Nah, he comes in with another X-Strike. Zips back out. Web Weavers on the ground. Good damage against Leo. They're at least forcing them back. They didn't get a kill, but they forced them back a bit. And the Web Weaver at the top lane could potentially take down the fort. In the middle, they might be able to do damage too. Let's not forget, they have a lot of heroes that have an enormous amount of wave clear. So any minion wave that comes through is easily taken out. And Gul'dan is just pushing this forward very, very quickly. So they are doing work. That fort in the middle likely going to go down. And if they can kill some heroes, that would be great. Mirrodin is already right there in their midst. Has to jump back out. Horrify at some point needs to hit. Fort is gone. Top side was defended properly. But that's a good first objective. I mean, at least the fort is gone. So that's 1 fort down. But they need, of course, more than that. I mean, look at the experience gap. 1.5 levels right now. So they're working it a bit more. They have 44 gems now. It's actually kind of nasty. Think about quickly how many gems they must have lost. They lost an enormous amount of gems. I mean, they must have lost like 60, 70 gems. Horrified. There they are. Finally some kills. Alright, the Cats are still alive. The Cats are still alive. That's gems lost for the blue team. And the Cats are still in this. Because if you just look at the numbers right now, just a second ago, the blue team had more gems, even though they already had 2 turn-ins, than the Cats, who just had 1. So, yeah. Play for the boss, and then they could also try and get the turn-in. But they need to deal with the bot lane pressure because, yeah, somebody has to go there. Obviously, the blue team is fully aware where exactly Team Rip currently is. Well, they are Team Rip, so of course they know where the Cats are. But now the Cats also know where Team Rip is because they were double checking on the camp to make sure that they don't steal away another mercenary camp. So, yeah, they get that. Topside boss gets attacked quickly. Should be able to take the fort out. More than that, a bit unlikely. Blessed Shield. Yeah, condemn. And I think they get the kill here. Actually, they don't because Lucio is just too strong on the heals. The damage over time of Gul'dan was just not enough. But another turn-in is possible. And the topside fort has indeed fallen. So the top damage in the game goes to Gul'dan, 30,000. 27,000 for Junkrat. Joanna has not died yet. And here comes the second turn-in for the Cats. So, they're still behind. By at least a level here. Mirrodin, yeah, Malfurion, alright. Dodges as much as he can. They got the bunker out too. Malf, still rocking this one hard. They go for Gul'dan though. Gul'dan is gone, but so is Junkrat. Genji survives, but boy, oh boy. If he would have been hit by that blessed hammer there, he would have died for sure. As did Leoric. So this is actually not too bad for the Cats. Leo will be back quickly, but it's still a 4 versus 3 for now. Losing Gul'dan, that definitely hurts, but on the other hand, with Junkrat gone, that means that there's not a lot of wave clear to help defend against those Web Weavers. So the fort at the bottom of the map has no chance, for example. Over here, another Blessed Shield. They really want Lucio. That guy has been the bane of their existence. And Tracer gets the kill. Tracer gets the kill. They're locking them in one after another. They're staggering those deaths. Huge play now from the Cats. They go for the keep, and they are definitely going to get one. They might get a bit more. Maybe not a second keep, but they're going to get damage. So, yep. They go for Mirrodin. Don't die, dude. You can't die. Crankle jumps out and really has to. If you all of a sudden lose another hero here and stagger another death, that would be an absolute nightmare. Could even be a death blow. So, they're trying to get some damage in. At the bottom, Lucio is still missing. Gul'dan is back. So they open that wall up, and then they steal the camp away. That's the plan. And I don't think they're going to push with the camp. Yeah. It's kind of pointless, too. I mean, what are you going to get there? You can pin them down a little bit. You can maybe try and siege up slightly at the bottom, but yeah, not so much. So this is a different situation now. All of a sudden, a keep is gone. All the forts are gone. Structurally, the cats have now pulled ahead, clearly. Now, the one thing to still watch out for is what happens around the... what happens around the next potential turn-in. Because there is a lot of gems in the hands of Team Rip. They got enough. And also, once that the boss is back up, which should be in a minute? Minute 45. Okay. But level 19 is now ready on both sides, which means the level 20 talents should, in theory, just drop for the two at the same time, roughly. Turning the gems in would probably not be a bad idea, considering how many they've lost. Anything that you can secure is nice. But, yeah. Bottom of the map. Sven still doing the Ice Giant thing. I like that skin a lot, by the way. I absolutely love it. The Space Sky Leoric thing was never really for me. That one, the Ice Giant with the blue tint, looks absolutely incredible. But, yeah, the Space King Leoric or whatever it's called, never really did anything for me, if I'm honest. So, turn-ins. Who gets it? 20. There we have at least that talent. That gives us Buried Alive. Yeah, and X-Strike gets upgraded too. On the other hand, we now have Horn. So a good ult from Gul'dan would go a very, very long way here. Plus the Radiating Faith. Big stun increase. That's, of course, huge if you, for example, want to lock Genji down. But the blue team has now turned in. So blue team was able to complete their turn-in, and the cats have to face the music. It's all about 2 drops down into the lower bracket at this point. Is Team Rip winning Tomb and then forcing game number 3? Or will the cats be able to secure themselves a second victory and move on to the winner bracket final? That's the big question currently. And yeah, time will tell. I mean, right now, they're trying for Tracer at the bottom of the map. And she's dead. Tracer is dead. And that is shitty timing. That's very, very bad timing. So, with that, we now have all of a sudden the blue team knocking onto the fort, the keep, in the middle of the map. Gul'dan, thankfully for them, is still here. Tracer can be annoying, but she doesn't have the wave clear that Gul'dan brings to the table. It would have been much worse for them if Gul'dan would have been destroyed. But they still have to bridge another 40 seconds with only 4 heroes. So, yeah, ult is out, and he's still going to be fine. Alright, so Malfurion needed to pop his own ult to counter, but Blaze is still in play. They weren't able to take him down. They defended the push in the middle, but they also have now to do the same thing at the bottom of the map. But as you can already see, with Jojo plus Gul'dan, not a problem. So, bit annoying for Team Rip. They didn't nearly do as much as they were expecting to. And they haven't even taken the fort at the top lane out yet. It will fall, I guess. But they were hoping for a lot more here. And actually, now that they're engaging into the battle again, that fort being destroyed is not guaranteed. And it's not. They got nothing. Guys, they got nothing out of that push. They pushed the lanes back out. But they got absolutely nothing regarding the structures. Well, they damaged some, but they effectively didn't kill anything. Bunker countering the Entomb. Now they're going for Mirrodin, trying to lock him back in. And they just can't. Boss is up now. Boss is up, and the cats are getting a bit closer to another tournament. But if you just compare the gems again, Team Rip is not quite, but nearly on the same amount of gems that we have for the cats. So Siege Giants are now claimed by Genji. Red team is trying to deliver what they have. Yeah, and they're able to pull it off. But they're still 6 gems short. Draka is holding 3. They need another 6. Boss has been checked as well. Obviously, nobody wants to fall into like a trap where you all of a sudden lose the game because your opponent is sneaking in the boss and you didn't realize it. 52,000 damage from Tracer. 43,000 from Junkrat. Not surprising that the 2 top damage dealers are actually Overwatch heroes. And they're actually going for it. They have camps in the middle and at the bot lane. So they set up a macro play against the Cats that would allow them to get value out of delaying any rotation towards the bottom. But who wins the fight? Malfurion is about to die. Is alive. What? Okay. Gets killed by Genji. Leo is also gone. They're trying to go for Tracer, and she gets destroyed as well. Tracer is gone. The blue team, every single time that they get pinned down, it just feels like they somehow find a way through it. And now they are about to get themselves a juicy boss at the 19-minute mark. So they are looking very, very good here. Nicely done. Down at the bottom of the map, the defense is now ready to deal with the Siege Giants. So that's going to be taken out. But still, obviously slightly problematic that you're going to face off against a boss from the other team. Especially since Tracer and Malfurion are not back yet. So, yeah, sorry, Blaze, you gotta get out of here. You cannot die here. That would be the disaster that would likely lead to a lost map. Because staggered deaths at this point, sacrifice the fort, you're not going to save that anyways. And they're getting a turn in. Nano turned in, so they're getting web weavers for defense. They were a bit afraid of losing the top lane too heavily. So this one should be defended quickly, but web weavers will also have very, very limited impact. It doesn't change the fact, by the way. Like, everything aside for just a moment about like how much was achieved with the boss, how much or how useful that web weaver wave is now going to be. At the end of the day, even if the red team doesn't take a single structure out now, they're still ahead in structures. They're still ahead. They destroyed the keep. The cats destroyed the keep, and Team Rip didn't. So there's only one web weaver still in there. We had the typical trade turn in against boss defense. Web weaver defense for defense against the boss. They can maybe still do something at the top lane. But yeah, they are still ahead. So from that perspective, they're going to be fine with this. Now, if they're able to also do some damage on the keep, maybe not even take it down, but just do some damage here, I think they would be pretty okay with this. Yeah, but they're not risking anything. They're moving back for now. The problem is that the blue team is just so close to another turn-in. Yeah. And there it is. They got the gems that they need, so they can go for a turn-in and grab themselves some web weavers. Now, up at the top, Twice can interrupt us a little bit, but he also, yeah, they're gonna get that turn-in. Unless they really fight it out now. And I guess they do. They want to prevent that from happening. And I totally understand why. We're now 22 minutes in. If you get another turn in here, some of your keeps will fall. So this is where essentially it comes down to. Bomb already connected. Tracer gets caught and killed. Beautiful entomb from Leoric. Sven with the play. Sven with a big play right there. Gets the entomb. The buried alive against Tracer. She gets killed. That is 100% a turn-in that they will get. They can time it. They have a little bit more time now. So they don't even have to rush it. They can just take their sweet time for this. And yeah, that was exactly what they needed in that situation. Alright. So, with that done, we now have the next few camps taken. Siege Giants, and then also, of course, the camp over here. And here come the Web Weaver. So, this is really the play where Team Rip is going to try and end the game. This is basically it. Team Rip is going to try and end the game with this push. We're at 23 minutes into the game. They got Web Weavers. They got some mercenaries in the mid lane and the bot lane. And at least some keeps will fall, but they're going to try and end this here. So unless the team fight is just a total disaster for them, they have a very, very good shot at succeeding here. And they're already poking this one out, of course. Blaze is defending up at the top, but they have to really thin their forces out now. I just don't see it. Siege Giants plus Web Weavers already down. And the real push concentrating on the mid lane. I think there's a big chance that we're going to game number 3. One keep is about to go down. What about the bot lane? They need to force the fight. I mean, it's the only way that they can possibly do anything here. Somehow get that fight. What happened to those Siege Giants? I mean, damn. What happened there? What was that? They got somehow, like, sucked in, crushed against the keep, got totally destroyed, and it just splattered stones everywhere? I'm honestly amazed how quickly they defended this. I mean, I've been talking half the game about the great AoE clear that the red team has, but I am blown away that they only lost the keep in the middle. That's wild. Fantastic defense by the Cats. That was really well done. By the way, compare the siege damage of Junkrat with the rest of the team. 333,000. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Oh, this time Sven misses it. Maybe that's the moment now. Now that you know the Entomb is not a problem for you, maybe they can force this now. 42 gems, by the way, for the Cats. Now all of a sudden they are the ones with more turns. But they're still a turn behind. So all of this has happened. It still happens in the context of the blue team having one Web Weaver wave more than the Cats. Muradin, Tranquil, an absolute menace of a player. Jumping in time and time again to look for that opening, for that Stormbolt. Leo nearly has his ult back. He's done amazing things with some of these ults earlier. So another chance, potentially. Gotta drive them back now. Muradin goes for Avatar and, well, is able to get away. Had to double jump with the rewind. Here comes the Riptire. Horrify is still there. Malfurion, beautiful bunker. Fantastic bunker. Horrify was also used just to be on the absolute safe side. Everybody jumps back out. It's wild that nobody died here. It's actually kind of crazy. But yeah, so they're trying to get the turn-ins now. But everyone knows that the next fight could be the last. Will likely be the last. The next time heroes die, it could end the game one way or another. Boss is, by the way, up again. We're now 26 minutes into the game and the boss at the top lane is up. If you lose a team fight right now and your opponent goes for the boss, chances are they win the game. So, yeah. And they all know it. Some gems have now been turned in. But we're still very, very far away from this. Boy, oh boy. So, 15 kills to 10. It's game 2. The Cats take it. They move on to the winner bracket final. Team Rip takes it. We're headed for game 3. 47 gems now for the blue team. Guys, this is not going to take much longer, and the blue team is also going to have enough gems to get another turn in. So, the red team can just simply sit there and think like, hey, we got this. What a game. We're going to end up with a 30-minute game at a minimum. Good old Tomb of the Spider Queen. Really, really big one. So. Yeah, they sniff around the boss at the top. Yeah, you're not going to sneak that in. Not that late in the game. Down at the bottom of the map. Yeah, that keep is getting attacked. That keep is likely getting killed. Siege Giants are doing damage and catapults are hitting like a truck at this point. So if the next minion wave that just spawned is not eliminating this quickly, the keep is gone. And yeah, with the catapult in, nope, this keep is gone. Keep is gonna fall. They have to go for the fight. I'm calling it there. They have to go for the fight. Boss is still getting attacked. I mean, again, they're just nibbling around the edges here. Leo, bit low. Jet propulsion on Muradin. As expected, the keep at the bottom of the map has fallen, and they have to do something. They have enough gems for a turn-in. They're sending Nano back to defend here. I don't even think that's needed. The next minion wave should be able to deal with this, but he's still doing it. So, they gotta do something. The keep is destroyed. You have the turn-in. Why wait until your opponent has it too? It's gonna come down to a team fight here. It's the only logical conclusion of this. Who kills a hero first? That's what it comes down to right now. Who's able to get that kill? Genji has been a menace throughout the entire game. And he's going to be looking for that opening. Muradin too, jumping on them, stunning them out. Getting another Skullcracker connected. We need that Horrify from Nano. And they're being pushed back already as is. And soon that could lead to another turn-in for Team Rip. They're already delivering. I mean, they're pushing them back from the point and then they're turning in. Malfurion gets hit. There's the Entomb. They want him. And they get him. Malfurion is down. And the bunker came too late. 5 versus 4. Now they are in trouble. Professional circles, we call that being in deep shit, and that's exactly where they are right now. I can already smell it. I mean, that's Blaze getting attacked. This is game. Red team turned in, but they're losing Blaze now. That's 2 heroes down. They got the turn in, but that was obviously just to try and prevent the boss. Attempt to survive here. I don't think they can defend with 3. I don't think they can. They're gonna try. The Web Weavers, maybe they can. The Web Weavers are gonna help a little bit. They still have Gul'dan, they have Jojo, a couple of ults are going to be there. As long as Gul'dan survives, and it seems like he's going to, they might be able to actually survive this. That's insane. That's just blatantly insane that this is even a possibility. 29, nearly 30 minutes in, 5 seconds for Malfurion. Leo is low, Jojo, but Gul'dan is dead. Gul'dan is gone. Nearly 100,000 damage for him. The core is still at 90%. The Web Weavers are pushing through the lanes. They're sieging up on this. They want to end it here. There are no more shenanigans. They go for another kill. Reptile is in. This is looking... Yeah, we're going to game number 3, aren't we? Game number 3. Team Rip with the victory, ladies and gentlemen, on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game number 3, Towers of Doom, everybody. So, it's going down to the wire here. We have our final map in the best of 3 series. Which team is going to drop down into the losers bracket? We're going to find out now, after Tomb of the Spider Queen was decided in favor of Team Rip. It was a pretty crazy game. I mean, so many situations there. Just nasty. The amount of wave clear that we had for the Cats, thanks to the draft, was stellar. They did such a great job defending against all those Web Weaver waves, but then eventually it was just a little bit too much. And it, as usual, it just comes down to a team fight. Sven in particular with his Entombs was absolutely on point. Some of the most dangerous situations for the Cats were created by Sven dropping an Entomb they just couldn't get out of. And they had tools. I mean, we've seen multiple times how an Entomb was countered by a bunker, for example. But especially that last kill against Malfurion was just too much for the red team to handle. They were trying to get to Malfurion and help him out there, but just too late. And then he dies. All of a sudden you don't have your sustain anymore. And it all spiraled from there. So, unfortunately for the Cats, they have to fight on the 3rd map. They can still advance to the winners final. But Team Rip, of course, want to take 2 in a row and want to be the team to face off against the Exodia stack in the next round. Vikings are unfortunately banned again. They're also targeting Nano a bit with the Chromie ban. No matter what else they're going to allow here, at least done with Chromie. Junkrat and Blaze. Junkrat did a lot for them in the last game, so that's the thing. Are we going to get an early Nano pick though? That's something that they could certainly now do to give him maybe one of his preference picks. The Haga as a first pick also gives you your global. So you already have a global that you can play around with. You can turn fight at the bot lane into a quick numbers advantage for your team. And there's Hanzo. Nano's Hanzo, and Twice is playing Muradin. That's a lot of stun already. So they got a fair amount of CC here. I wonder if we're gonna get some Sylvanas plays again. I really liked earlier when we had Sylvanas with mind control. Some of the moves that were made with her were just absolutely amazing. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So, with Blaze and Junkrat already locked in, you have, of course, quite a bit of poke also against Altar channels. Hanzo's going to do the same thing for the blue team. So it's not only just the power of a hero, but also how much utility he brings at the end of the day. And talking about utility, that's actually something that they're looking here too. Just saying, like, you know what? We're banning out Stitches just to be on the safe side. Because first of all, if he connects a hook and then Blaze connects jet propulsion, that's already a problem. But if he gets hook and gorge and then Junkrat just lays down a trap, then we might be in trouble here. So I like that Stitches is banned. Even if the blue team had absolutely no intention of picking him, this is a good, better safe than sorry move. Crankle on ETC, so Blaze ETC on the front line, which leaves you with a serious amount of stuns that you can get. And then we have Brightwing. Poly also, another tool for them. Whereas over on the right side, the final two picks, we have our side laner. We still need a healer. And we need, in addition to that, of course, another damage dealer. Are we going to get a mage? Is Sylvanas maybe going to come in? Or what's the idea? Jimmy! Yep. As I said before in other series, I want to see how Jimmy is going to do especially in the later stage, after the group stage. Because right now, he's a little bit the flavor of the month. He comes with a lot of downsides, obviously, on positioning and a lack of escape tools that people are trying to work around by, first of all, designing a team around him. Also, his survivability, but generally in the past, he hasn't worked out as such. But we'll see how much of an impact that recent change has. So it's going to be an interesting one. Genji comes in, and that leaves us with our final map. Ladies and gentlemen, Towers of Doom. Let's find out which team advances to the winners final. Off we go, game number 3. On the left side, we have Sven on Blaze for Team Rip. Azzy on Junkrat. Vasilisco is playing Brightwing. We got Iago on Genji and Crankle with ETC. Block Party on level 1 for him. To the right side, the red team, the Cats, with Nano on Hanzo. That's really just a hero that I absolutely associate with him. Captain Rex is playing Anduin. The Pullout King, we got Drakia on Reyna going into Ace in the Hole. We talked about this a little bit in comparison to stacking in previous series. Heroes on the Haka and twice on Mirrodin. So, ready to rumble. Let's go. Typical 5 versus 5 right at the beginning of the game. But yeah, I want to see what Jimmy is now going to do. Also, if the build is going to be adopted to what Dino has played earlier. Oh, poor Dehaka. So young and already dead. Game is just 30 seconds old and he is first blood. So yeah, reports incoming. But as I was saying, I wonder if the entire build is being adopted that Dino is playing or if they're going to be deviating away from that. I like the idea from the blue team to come in and get a second kill on the rotation. But it nearly backfired on them because Genji barely got out. There was a solid chance of him actually dying here. But yeah, he was able to escape. So good for him. All the way up at the top. Yeah, Hira, Sven, still doing some work. We're now having over on the left side the pumpkin screen attack. Both teams, by the way, are straight up going for it. Hanzo with level 1, simple geometry. Slowly starting to stack things up. I'm just amazed that we're in game 3. This is awesome. This is a cool series. Really is. Game number 2 was obviously fantastic. Now they're going for a kill as well. And I guess Blaze is actually going to fall. Yep, he is. So after Dehaka got killed earlier, it now hits the side lane on the blue team side. Seems apparently we have a pretty side laner hostile environment in front of us now. So yeah, over up towards the top. For now we got Dehaka just pushing this out a little bit. Again, his global is gonna be big here. His global is gonna make the difference when it comes to the altar fates down at the bottom of the map. At least it should during the triple altar phase. So yeah, all eyes on that. Level 4, fight or flight. It's all about sustain. Now again, the recent Jimmy popularity is pretty easily explained. I mean, obviously some other range damage dealers have also been nerfed a little bit, and he is generally a very honest damage dealer in the sense that he can get a lot of sustain damage out, but his problem was always survivability and escape tools, which he doesn't really have too many of. I mean, there's his trade, of course, and you have a penetrating round, But teams are trying to make him work now by attempting to create some, first of all, a team around him that can properly peel for him, but then also use the penetrating round. Dino was one of the players that kind of started to prioritize that a lot, and now everybody is giving that a shot. The problem is just simply that when Exodia stack wins with Jimmy, there's always the question, was it really Jimmy that won the game, or was it Exodia stack? So for me personally, it's really a matter of what happens when we are hitting the later stage of the tournament after the group stage. If teams are still playing it, or if it's just a bit of a flavor of month situation where it doesn't work out properly. So time will tell. But for now, it's actually cool that a lot of people play him, because it definitely makes for a bit of a different situation. But this is one of the issues. He just gets caught there and immediately dropped. So Jimmy is gone. The altars are all taken except for the one at the bottom. This one gets claimed by the blue team, so they are taking a small lead on core points. Jimmy dying obviously helped in that situation, gave them the numbers advantage, and also an early level 7 talent, so that definitely was pretty nice. And yeah, let's go. We got, with level 7 talents kicking in on the red team side too, we're getting the Desperate Prayer. And over here, Skullcracker. Isn't most Prayer desperate? Probably not. But a lot of it. I'm going 50-50. Fuel the Rush. Alright, so Fuel the Rush on level 7 now for him too. Yeah. I mean, cooldown reduction is always kind of nice. So I'm more curious about what's happening on level 13. I really like the idea that Dino had earlier where he said, hey, cooldown reduction on the penetrating round is actually quite nice because I can use it more often. I have another chance of healing. And if I attack against multiple, then, I mean, again, you get a lot more value out of this. Can technically use it also for damage, but obviously as a healing tool, it just comes in quite handy. So we'll keep an eye on what Jimmy is going to do there, or what Wrecker is going to do with it. Still a 1 level lead, roughly, for Team Rip, so they're a bit ahead in experience. So that's going to help too. And with that now, we're gonna have the next objective spawning. And this is a little bit dicey for the Cats. Either they pick it quickly, or they have to deal with the fact that the opponent has a level 10 ability. That's kind of the options here. Nice drag. And that's a kill. Yes, ETC. He's gone. There's beef on the Barbie, ladies. Nice. Burgers all around. Captain Rax gets the channel, and that puts them on an even score on the core. Level 10 ability just came a bit too late. And oh, can they get more here? No, but still. No, it's close for a second. DC hasn't made a choice yet. Could, of course, technically still go stage dive. And does. Stage dive is in. Junkrat is able to jump out. And we got Reyna's Raiders. We also have next to that the Dragon's Arrow again. Only Muradin hasn't made a choice yet. I really hope we're going to get Avatar. I hate Playmaker. It's kind of memey at times, and sometimes, every once in a while in the blue moon, you get good value. But I think Avatar is just so much more reliable as a tool. I guess it's always a question of how risky you want to play, but still. So 2 kills to 2. Very, very even. Small lead in experience for the blue team. Nothing crazy. So we have Jimmy down at the bottom of the map, defending currently, and everybody is just taking their sweet time with this one. But Muradin, I think at some point it honestly felt like Twice just took its hands off the keyboard. He was just sitting there and he's just like, yeah, how about no? So yeah, didn't do anything there. Now down at the bottom of the map, that's where we are getting the next altar spawning. And then this should be a pretty sweet fight. Blue team actually invaded the opponent's camp and stole it away. The worst thing ever would be, imagine them now converting the bell tower over. That altar would be a freebie, but they're not gonna get that. Blaze takes the next one. No, the interrupt. Wow! No interrupt! Free altar regardless. They took both of the camps at the bottom of the map and they got the altar for essentially free. So good for Team Rip. It really felt like in game number 1 they weren't quite synced up yet. But now, after that second map, they are looking much, much better. So for the Cats, that is a problem. Something that they gotta deal with. Now, damage output. Currently we have 20,000 for Hanzo. Yep, all that random poke damage obviously adds up. More than even Junkrat, who's sitting at 16k. And there we have a bit more even. I mean, for Jimmy, it's also the utility that you get from Reyna's Raiders. So, yeah, just for scouting purposes alone, that's already quite nice. Even though ETC apparently doesn't like it. How does ETC even hit that? Seriously, he's not that tall. And that guitar, I'm sorry, he is not going to hit that Raider with a guitar. That's just not a thing. Okay. Oh! Dehaka! Dead, and ETC looking for the stun connect with a slide. But, yep. Quick rotation towards the top, trying to help out there. And again, it's another kill and another camp for the blue team. They are inching their way towards a potential victory here. Now Anduin is gone. They are starting to get that bell tower at the top lane converted over. That's 5 kills to 3 now. You're looking at more than a level advantage. And they are doing better and better. So, if I'm the red team, I'm actually starting to get a bit worried here. I'm getting very worried because this is not going well. Every play that gets made is essentially a reaction. Like, it's essentially either initialized by the blue team or it's just like a reaction of what they do. So down at the bottom of the map, now another bell tower is getting attacked. This, again, they're just whittling away the hit points slowly but steadily. Genji comes in. That's something that you might also want to ban because Genji had a huge impact on the second map too. But their leading experience is really what worries me the most because they're soon on level 16 talents and for the next objective that's going to be massive issue. And camps, let's look at the experience distribution. Look at the mercenary experience. There's a huge gap there. Widened even more now. Arrow comes out. There's the stage dive. Oh, he realized too late that they could go for Hanzo. Yeah, I think if he slides right away for Hanzo instead of what his initial target was at the bottom, I think they get the Hanzo kill. Always easier said than done, obviously, in that situation. You also don't know where exactly his camera was at that moment. But, yeah. So that could have been problematic. But he's level 16. So they have final cut now. And, okay, ETC. And he gets out. But the drag connects with Blaze. And he has to bunker up. After Light Bomb got used, he needed to bunker up. Beautiful jet propulsion. They're trying to get another kill here. Blue team again with just play after play, move after move, pinning the Cats down. And the Cats, they need to break out of this cycle. They need to show their claws here and really make a move. Currently, we have the triple altar phase coming up, and you're still down a talent. That's not good news. That's a disaster, actually. That's a horrible mount, by the way. Unbelievable. Genji, seriously, like, what is this? This is not a mount. This is a disaster. I let that slide during Christmas time, but that is just not okay. This, maybe I'll put it on the grill, but that's the only thing. So, 2 altars against 1. Again, the lead extended for Team Rip. 24 points against 16. It's not a crazy lead. It's not an insane lead or anything, but the problem is that the game so far is only going one direction. So, the Cats, they have to, after level 16, they have to start to break out of this and make some plays. Good for Draka getting out of that spot, by the way. He went also into the cooldown reduction. Line him up. So exactly what we're seeing from Dino with this play. So, yeah. If they get level 6, when they get level 16, they gotta make some moves. I wouldn't want to let that lead stand like this. Ah, they steal. They steal another camp away. I mean, what the hell? How many camps did the... I honestly think that the red team only got a single camp. Did they get more? I don't think so. So, top lane, bot lane, that's where the bell towers are attacked the most. I'm gonna try here once again. 16 talents are finally there. Jimmy gets attacked, just bullied around a bit. I don't think they had a real shot at killing him. But just getting bullied slightly already helps. Isolation, fully whiffed. Nice juke. Well played. Oh, the arrow dodge! Beautiful! They dodged that in the last second, and that was nice. That could have connected with 4 heroes. Stage dive! Maybe a bit too aggressive. Not yet. Alright. But there's the drag regardless, and that's another stun. Bye-bye, ETC. Finally, the cat still got it. They are able to get some hits connected. Good for them. So, it is Cats time. So, well, with that, we're now looking at a 5 versus 4 for the Cats. Can they do something with it? I mean, they're going to get the altar, at least they should. But can they do a bit more? You gotta break out of that cycle. You gotta... oh, there's a double altar. Sorry. Yeah, so they're gonna get at least one. They should get both. ETC can stage dive once that he's back. But there's still 20 seconds off. So yes, they're getting both of the altars. And all of a sudden it's even again. Blaze trying to convert the bell tower over at the top is in the process of attempting to change that. But outside of structural damage, it's pretty even. They're going for another camp. I really hope that this time they're also going to be able to get it. And yes, thankfully they are. Still a big lead in experience for the blue team. But it could change now because that's another kill. Now Junkrat's gone. ETC went deep and it leads to Hanzo getting destroyed by his own brother plus ETC. So no brotherly love left between the Shimadas. That's a kill for a kill. Oh, the jet propulsion. And Anduin, that old killjoy, sucks out Dehaka. And they can't get the kill. But it's that level advantage for Team Rip that is still a problem. Because once that... The problem is, when Team Rip hits 20, let's say they get the bell tower at the top. And they are able to push for the bell tower at the bottom. All of a sudden, we're talking 62 bell towers. That can change the game insanely quickly. That can get you very quickly into a situation where you're losing full control here. With 16 points on the core, yeah, that's a definite risk. Especially, of course, since the boss is also still something that has to be accounted for. So, now we have level 20. Brightwing is looking for invisible friends again. Can't get any real ones. Needs the invisible ones. Oh, and we get the crowd pleaser. Oh, yeah. Slow and area increase. And talking about it, already jumping towards the top, even though it was more of an anticipatory. Oh, the slide against 2! Damn! Mirrodin is gone, and that is just bad news. Bell tower is taken. That's the first. Down here, Junkrat is going to interrupt this. Rest of the team rotates over. So at a minimum 5 points off the core, I think they're going to go for that bell tower though. I would. They should. And they're going to kill Jimmy. Yeah. Jimmy, you're not going to make it, my friend. He's trying to hug the bell tower. It's not happening. He's gone. He's dead. There's no way for him to escape this. So they're getting the next bell. It's exactly what I said before. They're taking the bell towers. Both of them now. It's a 6 versus 2. They can get the channel here. 2 heroes are dead. Yes, the red team will get their own level 20. But that's now 16 points to 10. I suppose they could now try and go for the boss. But they could also attempt to just defend the bell towers as long as they can. But it seems like they are more interested in just trading. They don't really want to go into another team fight up at the top, and they're just saying, okay guys, we're going to go for the play here. Now Blaze is obviously also down, so that's that. With Blaze gone, it's a 4 versus 4 right now. They can't quite get that bell tower. Junkrat could throw a few more over, but doesn't. Genji just says hello, but it's still 5 versus 3. That's not bad. 5 versus 3 means you get 2 more altars and the game's yours. So, for the Cats... yeah, gotta do something here. We have, by now, Jimmy on 26,000 damage. Not really all that high. Now, to be fair, a lot of Hanzo's damage is obviously just a bit of poke. Same, I guess, for Junkrat. Genji is also sitting at 45,000 damage, so yeah, he's pretty high up there too. And Dehaka is trying to push the top lane out. They took that bell tower back. I would not be surprised, honestly, if Genji or somebody else would now move into the middle and try to take that bell tower apart. I'm actually shocked that they haven't done that yet, but I think the minions might just be enough to do that by themselves. And yep, that's looking good. So they're getting this one too. Which means that we're looking at another 6 versus 2 bell tower situation. And that's just bad news. Are we? Yeah, Genji's taking it. Okay. So, this should be an easy altar to grab, because if the red team even wants to get access to that altar, they have to approach it through the top. Or through the side here. And as long as ETC just slows them down a little bit, this is a free 6 shots. And then they would be down to 4 points. And we all know what that means. That means all that you need is a boss. And the game's over. So the Cats are on their last leg. And apparently they only had 3 to begin with. So that's bad news. Shots are fired and they do the only thing that they can. They go for the boss right away. They have to take this. If this stays here, they're risking it, and I think it backfires. But they have to, because if not, then they're gonna lose it in the long run. 2 heroes down. Seems like that's game. 2 games in a row. Team RIP, they are claiming it. They advance to the winners final. Nicely done. Well played. Full 5-man team wipe. They lost the first map, and then the huge comeback with 2 wins in a row. GG.